Blog Talk Radio.
I said that's been my plan all along to have one this weekend.
Oh, well, I could see if I could get free because it's been my daughter watching my son all week. They got off school and stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of. I know, right? We just in a mid-conversation, you cut us off. Hey guys, y'all called us in mid-conversation, but welcome to tonight's show. It is I'm about to say August. My brain is elsewhere. December 30th, 2019, guys. We're about to wrap this year. Like, that's crazy. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. People about to get drunk and a lot of fun. Not it's gonna be there somewhere. I am like everybody like, what you doing? Like, listen. I done did too much. I done did Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas game night. I'm done. I done did enough. But if you're listening right now, the Clint, you want to say hi? My bad. I'm off.
No, you good. You good. What's going on, good people? You already know it's your boy Clint. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the last show of the year, the last show of the decade.
Yes. Oh, man.
Yeah. About jumping to 2020 out this motherfucker.
Yes. If you're listening right now, you're on blogtalkradio.com/GFT radio show. And if you're catching the playback, you're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, YouTube, and now Spotify really hooked us up. We know we've been kind of low last week, but we've been doing things behind the scenes. So for y'all that have been checking us out now on Spotify, I've been posting a lot of our Facebook stories, and I've been seeing our numbers go up with people watching stuff. So we see y'all, and we appreciate the support that you guys been doing. I know we got to get better on our social, but I noticed that when I started posting stories, people were watching it. It was gravitating people to the page. So I'm going to be... Yeah, so when we share on Instagram and the story, I try to share on, because I try to make it well automatically share to our Facebook stories, too.
Heard you.
It's all trying to...
man.
Go.
This... What I like about this is, talking about us being on Spotify now, that we're about to get a whole new crew of listeners. You feel me? I think it's about to expand this a little bit. So that's dope. That's definitely dope.
Absolutely. And plus we got we've been saying we got a lot of stuff lined up, but we'll talk more about that within the show. But if you guys want to call in, share your favorite shows, different things about what you liked about the podcast, what we can improve on. Call in 657-383-1155. Cop some merchandise. Go to teespring.com/stores/GFT radio. Cop some merchandise. I think my daughter stole my hoodie, so I'm gonna have to order another one because I really can't find it. And she's like, I don't have it. I think she does.
Yeah, I gotta get me a couple more hoodies. You know what I mean? I was rocking my other one.
I didn't about it, and she stole it.
Yeah, I'm about to. You need to get some kid sizes too, because I'm about to get my daughter. I want to get my little daughter.
Crazy little Clint. I was thinking about that because I wanted to get my son a hoodie with our logo, and I was like, I'm about to make the hoodie. And when I tell you I'm gonna do that because I literally was just thinking about that the other day. Because I was like, we could be matching, and so I stole my hoodie. So now to get me another one, I told her she can go buy her own to support the podcast. She buy her own by walking into my room and taking mine. But so I'm gonna buy another one. I'll definitely make some kid sizes and doing that. I know I've been wearing recently to protect our boys shirts, and people really like that shirt. So I always tell them where to go. So I definitely want to do that. I also want to do a T-shirt giveaway. I think that'll be dope. Get a shirt and do that or something. So I'm excited to.
And we could pass out some hoodies to the homeless.
Absolutely. because I said we got a lot of stuff we're trying to do. So I think we can incorporate like our brand in the mix of that, like like a little shameless promotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like so definitely look into that. But like what I was about to say, my brain is going. I had a long ass day today at work, and it was quiet, but it was a lot of stuff going on. I had a lot of math problems. It's killing my brain. No, I'm serious. Our boss had a whole meeting with us, and we was just sitting there looking at him like he was Charlie Brown teacher talking. And we was just like, yeah, okay. And I kept walking over to him. I was like, hey, and he was talking to me, and I said, yeah. When I finally got to my desk, I was like, yeah, no, I don't know what you said. Let me just send that email. My brain is on vacation.
Be that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Holiday season, you know what I mean? Yeah, a lot going on. We're missing Willie. You know what I mean? I think Willie about to try to call in. He's trying to
call in. I don't know what's going on. It might be his Metro. I'm going to go ahead and be shady. I'm going to need him to...
Hold on. First of all, don't disrespect Metro. You know what I mean? If you would have said something like your little cricket phone y'all two got, you know what I mean? No, but that's a whole different discussion. You know what I mean? Metro out here powered by T-Mobile. Let's not get it twisted. We need to say it. This ain't the same Metro of old.
Now y'all like
Yep. We're a little bougie now. We upgraded.
It's like having a boost mobile phone. It's like having a church.
Out here with the...
ain't about to do that.
I mean, you and Willie out here with these Obama phones.
He said Skype. He's trying to. Oh, there you go. Let me add him in. Sorry, guys. You know how we got to end the year on our petty shit. We got to be petty all day. Really calling on the cricket.
I heard that. I do not have an Obama phone. I don't have my headset. I'm on vacation as usual.
See how you threw the shade in there? I'm on vacation as usual.
As usual. I'm out here having a good old time, forgetting what time it was. I looked up, I saw Sonny's text. I'm like, oh shoot, I was going to be on the air in 10 minutes.
So let me tell you how I had to remind myself, because like I was telling Clint, I had a long ass day today, and I didn't sleep good last night. I kept waking up for whatever reason, so I'm like exhausted, and I was ready. Like I got in my bed, I turned on you. And I was in there just batting my eyes, and I said, "Oh shit, it's Monday's podcast, and I gotta stay up." And I was like, "Man."
If I wouldn't have seen somebody posted something earlier about it, did something. If that wouldn't remind, I forgot all about it. Did my damn self.
Because you know what? It's like you holiday shit. You get all into the holiday thing. You about the New Year's about to happen. People have your mind is elsewhere. You didn't think about like sit down on nobody's thing, just chatting like this. I'm ready to go hang out and do some shit. I don't know.
Word up. Matter of fact, a friend of mine, she called me and she was like, "What's y'all topic for tonight?" And at first I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. Then I had to think about it for a second. I was like, "Oh shit, we got a show tonight."
Right.
Adjusting to Monday.
Yeah, that's what it really is. I still ain't quite adjusted to the Monday.
Next week usually.
For real. The first couple weeks after we switched, you know what I mean, it was still real weird to me trying to figure out something to do that Thursday night.
Yeah.
My Thursday nights was usually.
Yeah, that's.
You feel me?
My Thursday night still screwed up because I'm still like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing on Thursday? Am I supposed to be doing something?
Word up. Until we like, wow.
Sitting around looking.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the show topic tonight is a wrap for 2019. We're gonna be toasting. I don't know if you guys have any beverage. I got a Smirnoff Ice strawberry. I'm being more chillax today. I ain't moving my wine right now. I'm just gonna wine. But Smirnoff. I don't know. Smirnoff not wine. Whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But anywho, that's why I'm off tonight. I'm going to be toasted in 2019 and then 2020. Oh man, my daughter graduated this year, She go to prom this year. It's about to be real. My pocket's about to cry. So I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm not
drinking wine coolers, Willie. She over there drinking wine coolers. Stress.
right. You know it.
Holidays that got to her.
Man, I did everything. I did Christmas. I did Thanksgiving at my house. I did Christmas Eve at my house. Then I had game night this Saturday. I had way too many drinks that I shouldn't have. I said we can't play that game at the beginning of the night because bitch, I have 9 shots and I said I gotta go lay down. Like I can't even deal with y'all right now. Like I'm on my own. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate 2019. We're gonna talk about our issues. You know how we do our favorite call-ins, our memorable call-ins, and all that, and our plans for 2020 as always, and stuff like that. So if you guys want to join in on the phone, call in, or if any of our usual suspect callers, y'all can call in and chime in and talk about y'all favorite shows, what y'all liked about what we talked about, or suggestions coming into the new year that what we can do to make this podcast that much better for you guys. Call in 657-383-1155. So, y'all want to start off with a toast, or y'all want to do, or y'all want to talk about favorite shows?
We can start with a toast. Toast it up right now.
Yeah, all right. So who want to do that? I think Willie should do the toast.
You think I should do the toast? Okay. All right, let me grab me a cup. All right. Okay, all right. First off, I want to toast to another successful and amazing year with this GST Radio fam. You know, everything that we did to whatever we didn't do. Looking forward to another blessed and amazing and spectacular year going forward, hitting some more milestones, hitting some more goals, and just, you know, being the best podcast here on the radio and on the internet today. Here's to my team. Here's to the fam. Salute.
Salute, my bro.
Salute.
I want to add to that just a little bit. I just want to toast to all of us, like being a team, getting each other together when we need to get each other together, making sure we stay on point. When we slack and we, you know, like pull each other up, like, hey, motherfucker, get your shit together for I slack you. Not really like that, but you know how we do. Just for the actual camaraderie of the podcast.
Well, just to give everybody kind of a little look into the background. I mean, I just want to shout out Clint. Like really, I mean, this year we put ourselves through some changes in order to better ourselves, only because, you know, we were doing kind of status quo. We got comfortable. Clint said, you know what, we done got comfortable and we done got sloppy, and we need to get it together, get a focus, get a goal in mind, and stick to it. And we did that. I think that was huge, because, you know, sometimes you don't recognize when you get comfortable, when you start just hitting cruise control and just letting things be how they are. You know what I mean? Especially when you've already said that you want to do something, and if nobody's there to hold you accountable, you won't do it. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, like you just said, Sonny, is that when we hold ourselves accountable, we hold each other accountable, and push the team further, it makes it that much better.
Yeah, because Clint has offered, listen, get it together, I'm out. And it was like, what? Wait a minute.
Nah.
Go ahead.
I just feel like we got a real good opportunity here. You feel me? And I don't think like we were maximizing it. And honestly, I still think we still got so much room for improvement,
to grow,
so much room, to grow. You know what I mean? And still, I still get people tell me like, yeah, I mean, I listened to it. That was a dope conversation. That was a dope episode y'all had. Those are the type of conversations that need to be had. So, like, I still feel like we as a crew touch on a lot of things, You feel me? We have good conversation, and I like our dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like our dynamic. We all come from 3 different perspectives. You feel me? And I think it's dope. It's dope that Willie, he's from out there in Detroit. You know what I mean? So he brings a different life perspective. You know what I mean? A different view from a different area. You know what I mean? Like this how it is on my side.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it gets, from that alone, we're already, like, in my opinion, national. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're just not something local. We're already national because we're getting we're not just getting a East Coast or New Jersey perspective on things. You know what I mean? We had Game on. You know what I mean? He from out there, so he did a whole hell of a lot of shows. He held us down. Shout out to him.
Oh yeah, shout out to
He held
him.
us down plenty. You feel me? He held us down plenty of episodes. You feel me? So they gave that perspective. So I felt like, I mean, we're already national. You know what I mean? We got so much room to grow. We got an opportunity to do something big and something dope. And something dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want it to. You feel me? Like I don't want the opportunity to pass us. Yeah, I don't want the opportunity to pass us.
Right.
You feel me? Like strike while iron's hot.
Yeah, because I feel like the couple of people that we've had on with us, it's been like they really, like, people really enjoy the content that we give, the different ways we approach different topics. Like what you said, Clinton, ways that people always say that we talk about things that not too many people talk about. Like, yeah, we can talk about what's going on in the world and stuff like that, but it's how we approach it. And just like touch on topics that not too many people will want to have a conversation about because it's considered controversial, but it needs to be had. And I think that with every time conversation we have, we all take away something from it. And whether we take something away from it or somebody that's listening in takes something from it, and it opens up your eyes to, like I said, we learn from each other. I learn stuff from you guys. I don't know if you learn anything from me, but like we kind of get that vibe of kind of like getting that knowledge of different perspectives and viewpoints of how other people think, and you may not think that way. And I said, we said this before too, and how you kind of get an understanding of how to look at something completely different. I know for me, one show that sticks out the most to me right off my head was the Gaslight one. I never heard that in a million years. And I don't know how we came up. I think it was that came up with that topic, or whether it might have been Clint. And it was like to dive into that conversation. I had never heard that before. But when you look at, like, when you self-reflect on your life, and you look at relationships that you were in, you kind of look at it like, wow. You don't understand it because it's like one of those forms. Like I said, for people that don't understand or hear the terminology every so often, it's like when you hear that, you kind of like and reflect on your own situation and try to understand what you were in and, like, you know, the signs and stuff like that, because you don't know that. And sometimes stuff's not real unless it's happening to you.
Yeah.
And
one of my I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, finish.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm just saying, like, that's like, to me, that was like the first one I could think of that kind of stood out to me.
Mine was the monogamy episode.
Which one of mine?
Yeah, like, are we fooling ourselves with monogamy?
Okay.
It was that episode, and I believe the episode that preceded that, because that's what actually spurred that episode, that conversation towards the end of that episode, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe we had Sapphire on, and and we was just talking about how in the black community, how, you know what I mean, that's when we was like, how the relationships, you know, how, you know, we weren't really taught how to be in healthy relationships in our communities, and that's how we had this dysfunction, when how, you know, a lot of people are really living a polyamorous or polygamous lifestyle, but not really, you know what I mean, admitting it or you know what I mean, accepting it. It was just like I just love that conversation, and you know, to hear Sapphire, and I think we had a couple other callers call in. You know what I mean, that was just dope. That's one of the episodes that stuck out to me.
Mhm. Well, yeah, one that stuck out for me, kind of on the same note, in the same vein, in terms of episodes where, you know, people just don't talk about, was the Love Me Some Me episode. I mean, you know, between us talking about, you know, self-love and, you know, solo sexual encounters, things, you know, things that we enjoy, things that people enjoy. You know, that's something that a lot of people don't even touch on. You know what I mean? It's a subject matter that some people just shy away from. They just be like, you know what, you know, they don't even want to talk about that kind of stuff on their own show, let alone, you know, to other people. You know, and I mean, it definitely brought the GF in our show out. You know, in terms of just being grown folks. You know, because this is conversations grown folks need to be having.
Yeah, I think we kind of learn a lot about ourselves in these episodes that we had, because you know, you kind of get, like, I know the one we did with the ladies, the one I did with the ladies roundtable when we did, where I had all the ladies on, and just different perspectives of how we approach things as moms. It was eye-opening for me, because, like, when you know how you talk about situations and then you're placed in them, you don't know how you're going to react. Of course, you come up with ideas of how you would deal with things, you know, with teen pregnancy, whether or not abortion is the option, adoption, and stuff like that. Like, that was an eye-opener for me, because you know how you say things, but when you're in it, it's probably a different story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like conversations, like even just talking to other women about what they think about certain things like that. It's interesting to kind of get that that idealism from them to kind of look at things a little differently, because you had that one stubborn thought process, and it's like, no, think about it in this perspective. And it's like I said, we do that with each other when we have different shows too. But like, just those women topics, for me, it was like, you think that everybody, you don't understand, not that you're completely divided, but you don't know the thought process of how everybody else is thinking in certain situations.
Yeah.
And then we also brought up the topic about, or what Clint brought up about protecting our boys like we protect our girls, because you think about that, and as we think about our girls and stuff like that, and we brought that into the discussion too, and it was like, to kind of have that broadened discussion that we had prior to on the previous show without them. And it was getting other females' perspective on that, because you don't think about that. And we brought up specifically how Clint was like, how we say, oh, that's my boyfriend, to our we allow females to say that's our boyfriend to our sons, and we don't see it as a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's just,
right.
Wow.
One, I know, you know what I mean, just because we've been doing this since, 2015 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like so much, you know what I mean, so much has changed as far as from when we started to now. You know what I mean? It's like, our conversations and our thought processes have changed. A lot of things that I was so stern about before, I'm not so a stickler about now. And some things haven't changed. Like, when we had the episode about the self-esteem and the social media, even we had that just, a few months ago.
Right.
It's like, I still don't see my stance changing on that, but I can see, I can see more people. I see a huge amount of people now that are affected by it that I didn't see before. You know what I mean? Like, I see the effects of it, but I still feel like, you know what I mean, it's a simple fix. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm wording it correctly. It's like, I understand, okay, yeah, there's a lot of people how social media affecting a lot of people's self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But I feel like, you feel me, it shouldn't be that way. Like, it's an easy fix still. You know what I mean? And like, that conversation from when we started this to now is like, it has expanded, it has exploded from our very first topic. Remember, Sonny? Where that I was on, the gender neutral, till you see where that's where the show started. Well, from my inception, I think that was like the second or third show.
Yeah.
And from that to now, to how now we're having episodes about how they trying to, the LGBT community, and how they trying to take over, and how, you know, we had the one episode about how the pedophiles are trying to link themselves with it, and all types of crazy stuff. It's like wow, to see how the conversation from then to now, just how quick it has exploded. You feel me? And how quick the podcasting has exploded from the time we started to now. And,
yeah, so much. Like the podcast now, it's like it's all these different outlets and different platforms, and how you choose to do it. You know.
Right.
I think in our area, Sonny,
Sonny,
and I think in our area, not to be cocky, you feel me, but I feel like we influence a lot of these podcasts in our area to even start.
Yeah.
Because I don't think nobody was doing it. You feel me? I don't think nobody really was doing it, and then they seen us doing it, and now it's like a couple in our area that just popped up. You feel me? They dope. But I feel like we part of the pioneers of that.
Yeah, but I noticed that too. It's like you start something, and then other people choose to do it, and how they choose to do it is how they choose to do it, and that they're great in their own right and how they do it. But it's all love, because it's like we're all Trenton people. I know Willie got podcasts out in Detroit that I've heard out there as well, and it's like everybody's podcast is uniquely to them. I think ours is the we choose to do our platform versus a lot of other people. I like the fact that we can have people call in live. I'm sure you can have other ways of podcasting, but I think this is the most simplest way to do it. And I feel like how we do our shows is like everybody does it their own way. I think this works for us.
Right.
Personally, would love for us to be able to do a show with all of us together live, either for Facebook or IG or YouTube or whatever. But like all of us together at some point, I would like us to, and I know because we all have different schedules and stuff, but we got to figure out a way to make it work. I know we were doing the Instagram live, but we're having issues with Instagram, the app showing saving our lives. So I know we're working behind how to continue, because I think people like to see our faces every once in a while too. But it gives us I think doing it both ways is the benefit to us, because like you can do it this way where people can actually call in and join our conversation, and then we can also do the live shows where we're just live streaming it and doing it like how we do it. But we're working so for those who are listening, we're working on ways to bring both to you so you can visibly see us and stuff. But I think that the one thing with podcasting is the chemistry between the hosts. You can tell whether it's genuine and whether it's that type of camaraderie that's given, because you know that's what makes the show. And I always say that. I say it to my friends that are out here and doing what they're doing, musically or otherwise. I always say to them, if you believe in what you're doing and you're proud of your product and you're presenting to other people, you're gonna attract people to it because you're proud of what you're doing. And I want us to always be proud of what we're doing. And I think that we're doing a good job. Yeah, we can be better. We're growing constantly in different ways and stuff that we want to do. We have a lot of ideas of how we want to do it. It's just figuring out how to do it that we all can participate in it and stuff like that. I hope that 2020 brings a lot of change for us as far as I know we talked about doing interviews with different people and different things, doing the spotlights and stuff like that. it's a lot of things that we're trying to do that we're bringing to the table, and I just feel like how we podcast is worked perfectly for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how we podcast.
Right.
Yeah, I love the fact that, you know what I mean, like I said, the best part about it is people get to call in. You know what I mean? So it ain't just us loving to hear ourselves talk. You know what I mean? You know, and that's what a lot of, you feel me, other podcasts. You know, I noticed just period, listening to it and watching a lot of podcasts, I know a lot of them just like to hear themselves talk sometimes. And with us, like I always said, my favorite thing about this is, and you mentioned earlier, you get to learn. You feel me? You get to hear different perspectives. You know? And it's like therapy to me sometimes. So I can get caught up in my own thoughts. You feel me? You know what I mean? Like I can get caught up in my own thoughts and keep thinking my way, you feel me, is, you know, the right way. You know, I'm wise in your own eyes, so to speak. So then to hear, you know what I mean? So then to hear Willie come in, or to hear you come in, or hear Carter come in, and somebody give me a different perspective or different, you're like, okay, I didn't even see it from that. I didn't even think about it from that way.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or then it means like, I remember, you know, all my favorite conversations where we're going back and forth. Maybe we disagree or agree, whatever, with each other or with somebody calling in, is that now, even if I truly believe what I'm saying, if I can't articulate it properly while I'm on the phone, it lets me know that, okay, I can't really articulate what I mean, so let me go really study it so I can get a full understanding of what I'm defending, so when I bring it back, and that's what that distance helped me with too. You know what I mean? All right, so when I get on here, make sure I know, and I'm talking about something, make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So if somebody want to go back and research what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Of course, I ain't going to be 100% every time, but for the most part, I feel like I'm on point.
Yeah. And at the same time, that's one thing. Like, we're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to, like, if, at the end of the day, a lot of our stuff is just our opinions on certain things or our life experience of how we view things. So, like I said, we're constantly learning from each other and other people, because you get to put upon your life experience. Like, my relationship history is crazy. I have how many relationship conversations I'm sitting there thinking about once I got a phone with you guys and we get off this podcast, I'm sitting there like, well, my life is fucked up. Let me go fix this. Let me look at this differently. I like to self-reflect, and then I'm an overthinker, so I have extreme problems with that. I'm an extreme overthinker, and if I'm not told otherwise, I think the absolute worst. I have like the worst case scenario, and that's where I'm going until I know otherwise. And it's just funny for me when we're doing relationship things. I'm constantly looking at my past relationships or current situations or, you know, stuff like that, and it makes me reflect and think about certain things and how I could have done things differently. And whereas, like, now, for me personally, I've learned to be more vocal and express myself versus, because I had bad problems holding things in and not addressing things. And then when shit hit the fan, I'm mad about the pencil fell on the ground and now all hell broke loose because I didn't really speak up for myself. And I'm learning to communicate. We always say there's a big thing about communication. I'm a communicator. I like talking all day. But it's one thing to talk all day without somebody hearing what you're saying and you're not understanding what they're saying. And I do know I have to learn to listen better and not always – I have to learn to listen without being defensive. But I also have to learn to communicate and not feel like – I read a movie the other day and it was like you have to be able to communicate without people thinking you're arguing. Because I want you to hear what I'm saying to you. Like, this is my issue. I'm addressing it to you because I want to fix it. I'm not doing it to tear you down, but this is what's bothering me. And how do we resolve this? Because if we're not going to resolve it, then I'd rather just move on. But and that's a lot of problems because people don't resolve. And that's the thing, we did talk about that one, too, on the podcast one day, how to resolve issues properly, because you talk about them, but what happens after?
Conflict resolution.
Well, one thing I also like too is that kind of back what you guys were saying about, being able to be heard or being able to hear different perspectives, but also to not feel like you're alone in your perspective. Not feeling like you're the only one that either had a life experience in this or have a situation occur, in your life or in your situation or in your relationships or in your family and things of that nature. Being able to know that you're not alone in that. You know what I'm saying? Hearing, each other's experiences, our likes, our dislikes, our passion, our regrets, our strengths, our weaknesses. Being able to know that there's somebody out there that can share that life experience with you and say, hey, it's okay, or it's going to get better, or it's there's a way out of this, or there's a way to do it bigger and better, whatever the case may be. I think that's also essential, and that's something that I've enjoyed, in being one part of this podcast team, as well as seeing the topics that we have touch on these subjects. Not only for us but for others. Using this platform as a way of touching other people, touching their lives, touching their psyche, educating them. I mean, there was, kind of back to what Clint was talking about, I can't remember if it was Clint or you, Sonny, that said about the gaslighting thing. I mean, there were so many people who hadn't either heard of that or hadn't really understood what it was, what it was about. It was funny because I just had a get together at my house last week, and a bunch of my friends were talking about different relationships, and I think one of my friends mentioned about how this guy was, kind of running game on her and being a narcissist and being, poisoned, basically just running game on her, and someone mentioned like, yeah, it sounded like it sounded like he was gaslighting you. And they mentioned, like, I heard that on Will's show, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, to know that it was one of my friends, but still somebody who I hadn't even realized was listening to the show. Didn't even realize that they had even touched, that had touched them or that they had thought about that. We had talked about, some other things, and it was like, I'm hearing, and now I'm always thinking about our show topics, right? Either something we've done or something we need to do, and and it's all I always hear. I'm so happy y'all did this topic because it was essential. I had this guy tell me one time, that he had listened to a couple of episodes in a row and was just like, man, I'm looking forward to the next episode because y'all always touch on things that need to be spoken about or need to be talked about, and it sparks conversation, not only for them, the conversation that we're having, but it's sparking conversations in their lives. He was saying how he was having a conversation with people at his job about topics that we're talking about using, points that we brought up in our show, as his reference points, and that's one thing I do appreciate too, is that we always kind of bring a perspective of facts and, not only our opinions, but we bring statistics or facts or greater perspectives to the conversation and to the table.
Yeah. I like when I hear people talking about something, like the topic that we talked about, not necessarily because they heard our podcast, but we're just like, so I'm in a group setting at work or wherever I'm at. Somebody's talking about something. I'm like, yo, we had a podcast about that. And they're like, oh, really? What y'all? And I'm like, and I'm sending them the link, like, listen to it. And then they like, you guys make some valid points, and they go about it. I love that. Because, like, hey, listen to this. So, like, I'm a big person.
Yeah, that definitely happens to me. I have definitely been in. I've noticed myself when I'm in that group setting like that's that's my go-to. Like, it don't even be purposeful. It just be like,
right.
Why? Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast. It's like, boom, and this is what. And then I'm sitting there, and a lot of times I don't just tell them how I be feeling or my perspective. I'd be like, yeah, and such and such said this on the podcast. Willie said this. Sonny said this.
Right. I do the same thing. Yeah, I'm always talking with one of y'all. Exactly.
Know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like that'd be dope. That'd be dope. And then one of my favorite things about this is when we do stuff like political topics or topics or something to where I really have to go and do some research on. You feel me? Like I really gotta let me look into this. You know what I mean? To make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like, or you feel me? Like even when, like, for instance, the gaslighting topic. You know, I had to go research that. You know, because Willie brought that to us probably like a week or two before we even did the episode. Oh, you know what I mean? Like I think Willie had sent us a link or something, right, in a group chat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
exactly.
It's probably a few weeks before we even did the episode. You know what I mean? That he sent that. So you know, I had to look that up, and I remember us having that conversation before we even did the episode. Like, yeah, that's real. That's real. So it's like stuff like that, and then when we talking about politics, it's like, you know, I've noticed, you know, since doing this show, I've become more politically aware. You know what I mean? More in tune.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because I know we got a platform, and it's like with all this stuff going on, like we have to talk about it. I mean, like we have to talk about it, so we have to have some type of information, solid information.
Yeah, I think it's funny too because we didn't talk about this on the podcast, but like, you know, the people that don't know a lot of things that happen in history. I was talking to my coworker. She's an immigrant. She's she's not from the United States. She's from Guatemala. And I was talking to her about Wall Street. And I also talked to her about a coworker said don't drink Kool-Aid, and I laughed. I said, you know where that's from? And we were talking, and I was talking about the real Jim Jones. And I was explaining to them that, and they were looking like I was crazy. There was two coworkers. They was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you gotta look at it. Like, I'm one of them people. Like, you know, I'm obsessed with, like, I like history. You know, love like that. And I'm a little nerd in me, but I just think that a lot of people don't. Like, I was watching the most recent thing about Black Wall Street, and I was just and they were talking about where it happened and how they just started talking about it, teaching it in history class to the students because they weren't aware of the town's history and how they had to rebuild. And I thought that was different to me. I'm like, why are they just now, like in 2019, just now teaching them about that? They should know about that. This is their town. How do they not know about that? And I got so far as I was watching the people that survived it and how they escaped. They were telling their stories. And I just think that, you know how we do Black history and stuff like that, I think at some point we can incorporate different history things that we talk about that a lot of people don't know about, because I said to them, I only found out about Jim Jones because one day I was, you know, I'm a little bit of a nerd of a PBS special. They were saying about the real Jim Jones, thinking about the rapper, because, you know, I don't know no better. And now I'm learning about this person that did this mass, I call it a mass murder. They call it a mass murder suicide. It was the biggest mass murder ever. And I'm explaining to them what happened, and I'm showing them like, these different things. And there's a lot of people that don't know about a lot of things that affected a lot of people. And I was just explaining to them, and I was like, you got to look at how this happened. This was in a time where we were just coming out of Jim Crow and all the segregation and stuff, and you had this church that was accepting everybody, and then people fall into that trap, and then here's what happened. And then we start talking about like that, and that's a touchy subject, but I feel like we should be, like, there's a lot of people that don't know a lot of things, and as we have this platform to teach our children, we should be like incorporating that somehow into I ain't trying to bore people, but, you know, just to get them to educate them on certain things, especially when it affects our history. And we need to, like, look at the past to better ourselves in the future. And then I had a conversation about how Black people are just not on the same page at all. We talked about that on the podcast before. And we're so segregated. Yeah. We're not together because, like, this town was together. Everything was Black owned. They did everything. They didn't need the government. And then I actually incorporated with the Black Panthers and how they started their own food program so that way people had to be on welfare. They had their own community people helping them out. And it's like when we get to that, when we got to those 2 points in our lives where we didn't need the help of the quote-unquote man, it was like shot down, shot to hell.
Right. Well, I mean, going back to things that we need to teach each other, teach the community about, I mean, one of our first shows this year was the ups and downs of home ownership. And we talk about being invested in our community, investing in ourselves, investing in our families, and sometimes what people don't know about or learn about is what happens after you buy that home, what happens after you get that property, what happens, and we started touching on that, early on in this year's shows, and that was, something that I think was beneficial, educational. We did a lot of teaching this year. We taught people about their feelings, their sexuality, what happens on a home. Talked about the toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. Saving our boys just like we try to save our girls. I mean, we did a lot of teaching this year, and I think that's been essential, and that's been huge for us throughout the year. Teaching about, and then our core topic this year being autism awareness. We did shows on that, and reaching back and helping with that as well. So that's a lot that we were presenting to people, giving them knowledge, giving them the ability to move through this life, let alone through their communities.
Yeah, and I hope we continue that into 2020. Like we said, we're going to do less talking, more helping. We're trying to do way more of not just speaking, but doing it. And I have to reach out to this artist again because she has yet to call me back. I'm going to look for somebody else. But I'm trying to set up an event here in Trenton, and I'm looking at just trying to lock down the artist first before I lock down the place and how we're going to do this thing. But we have so many things that we want to do. We do the book bag thing this past September. I'm looking forward to doing more of that. I think we could do, like within our communities, whether it's your community or our own community, we're into things that we can benefit and make an impact on people that otherwise would need it. Would possibly need that help and don't, a lot of people go through things in life they don't, and then they don't reach out. I know me and my friends started this group on Facebook for those who have lost parents and, people that were parental figures to us within the last couple of years, or not even just lost parents, period, because you don't understand. And that's another way of giving back, trying to help people in a grieving process. It's a constant process that you're dealing with. But, you don't have that outlet. We realized, we created that group probably not even a month. And some of the people were like, thank you for creating this group because we need a place to vent that people understand what we're going through. It's a constant issue. Right. You don't realize, and, within our community of black and brown people, we don't look at, we don't, I don't want to say we don't have these types of things for each other, but we need to have more of those. There needs to be men groups where grown men can have real conversations about bettering themselves as men. It should, just stuff that are shared in together and can get that support that we need, because I know with our community, we don't ask a lot. A lot of people don't shun therapy. Some people don't want to go to a pastor or a preacher. They want somebody that understands what they're going through. Mm-hmm. They have the have Narcotics Anonymous and stuff like that. I think that we need to have groups for us that help us, and that's one of the groups that we recently created about how to help with people being able to vent and talk about losing a parent and just dealing with that every day, because some days you have a good day, some days you have a bad day.
Right. Yeah, but one thing I did want to bring up too, or before I do that, better give out the numbers. Then we've been moving through this topic. It's been going pretty good so far, but make sure if you guys want to chime in, tell us about your favorite GFT radio show episode. Give us a call at 657-383-1155, or tweet us at GFT_radio. We are on Twitter as well right now, taking your live tweets. But one thing I wanted to mention too is that even though we did a lot of teaching this year, even though we touched a lot on people's lives in positive ways and helping them to bring out topics that they may have never been able to listen to or talk about, things that they hadn't thought about doing yet, like when we had our conversation topic about having the conversation with your kid after they start having sex, things like that. But I think we also, we can't overcast or overshadow the fact that we did have some fun this year. I think one of my favorite fun topics was the Endgame Game of Thrones episode. That was a lot of fun. Talking about Avengers Endgame, talking about Game of Thrones. I think we even got Clint involved in that one. Pulled him into the Game of Thrones conversation.
Yeah, they definitely reeled me in. They definitely reeled me in the Game.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Clint was a hard one to turn, over to the GOP side. I wasn't the most happiest at the end of the Game of Thrones season 8, but it was and by that time we did that episode, we were enjoying it. It was a lot of fun. So I really can't talk about enough that we love to have fun on this show. Our after show topics. I mean, come on. Most of our after show topics, they can border on serious, they can border on educational, but we do have a lot of fun with our after show topics as well. Things that we talk about, be it the memes out there, be it the crazy stuff people do on reality TV. I'm trying to remember one of them that's standing out, but we definitely love to have a good time on this show, and I definitely appreciate that as well, because it's a great outlet, not only for us but for our listeners as well.
Yeah, I liked our topic about the dreams and deja vu and night terrors.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
Because that's like I don't think people talk about stuff like that, but it's like that man. That to me is so real, it's ridiculous. We talked about it on that show because I'm a big person of, I remember my dreams. I had dreams where I've had them 15 times and then had in real life. It's just crazy that, and people live that. Like when I talk to people, they're like, yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, right? And they have done that. They have had that happen. So it's always interesting to see. Clint talks about the what is it, the black spirit or something like that.
Say that again? Or
the black spirit that be on you or something like that? What was it?
You talking about the sleep chairs?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feel like something holding you down. You can't move, and then when you look up, it's like always a figure in the corner. You feel me?
Yeah,
that shit is scary. That shit happened to me in the hospital.
No, right.
Yeah, that shit happened to me. I was in the hospital. Yeah, I was terrified. You know what I mean? Them night terrors ain't nothing to play with. But I was sitting here thinking, oh man, that I forgot. My actual was the R. Kelly episode.
Oh yeah.
What's the name? Draw my mind. Yeah, you draw my mind when you was saying we was bringing up all the stuff about the the memes and the social media and all that. 'Cause we did a whole episode about the memes too. Funny memes, you know what I mean? But that R. Kelly one, I just wanted to touch on that one real quick because I thought that was because I remember a brother called in on that show. He was hot. He was hot like us. He was hot like me. He was kicking. You know what I mean? Because that was a big thing this year. You feel me? That surviving R. Kelly, and to see how when it first came out to now, how he actually locked up. They showed him in court. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then when we did that topic, I just remember the feeling like, man, like this shit. With me, it was like, man, like y'all late to the party. Like, why now? Why y'all mad now? Like, y'all should have. Y'all should have been mad. But you feel me? At the end of the day, they got his ass. They got his ass.
Right.
You feel me? They got his ass. What'd you say?
I said Weinstein deteriorating, going down.
Yeah. Yep. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to ask you.
We finally seeing some movement on that. Yeah, we finally seeing some movement on that. I know we talked about that a few times, and people have brought that up. Like, well, what about Weinstein? And what about this person? What about that person? But we finally seeing some movement. It's sad that when you come, and we've acknowledged that. It's sad when it comes to the black man. They'll jump on that real quick and get it done. You know, especially in this day and age, you know, that Me Too movement has definitely brought a lot of powerful men, you know, to their knees when it comes to their reputations or their income, their freedoms. But you know, we've seen the most of it has more affected black men than anything else. You know, in that arena quicker. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because we see the same stuff happening across the board. You know, men, black men, white men, you know, whatever their nationality is, you know, being that they did sexual assault or they just did molestation or they just did this or they just did that. You know, whatever people want to minimize it to, it's like, no, everybody's free game right now. And they trying to go after all of them. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's crazy that, you know, we see still some disparities in how that's being handled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a question for y'all, though. I got a question for both of y'all. With going into this new decade, you know what I mean, and how this Me Too movement has changed the landscape of how, basically how everything, Hollywood, entertainment industry, basically how everything's going. How do y'all see it moving forward? Do you see it progressing, or do you see it, you know, I'm going to just say from my perspective, I see like it's stumbling a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's stumbling a little bit going into the new decade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see a regress. I see a regress coming mainly because I think as a movement it was sweeping, right? But then as a life-changing situation, I see a lot of people, you know, trying their best to hide things, trying their best to push things to the side. But I also see a lot of people still going either unnoticed or unaffected because you're talking big names or big people are getting affected by this, you know, and the visibility is what I think made it more quick, you know, made the effects quicker and more prominent. You know what I mean? So what I mean by this is, you know, most of the people who got affected by this were people who are either in our face right now or had really big names attached to them. So you're talking Kevin Spacey, you're talking R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Weinstein. There was another guy, I'm trying to think of his name, I'm forgetting his name right now. There was another guy, Matt Lauer. So who got affected quicker? Think about who got affected quicker. You had Lauer, you had Spacey. They were the first ones to go down. You know, that really went down quickly. You know, when the shit hit the fan. Weinstein, he saw the effects of it quickly, but we didn't really see any movement on that. He was in the background. You know what I mean? He was in the background. He wasn't a face or a name that regular people could attach themselves to or get outraged at. We got outraged once we found out all the crazy shit he was doing and the people that was getting involved. We still don't know all the accomplices he had, but you know that was one. There was a woman that was on a TV show. I think she was on Smallville, and her and another movie producer were getting people in a sex cult, and she didn't really take a fall on her situation until months later. You know what I mean? Same thing with R. Kelly. Bill Cosby was one of those hard ones. You know, it was fast in one regard because they canceled all the shows. It took all these different opportunities away from him. But then it took time for him to hit the court system, right? I think it was a whole year. So you're talking the people who got affected by this the quickest were the people who were most popular. So now we have all these other people who may still be guilty out there on the street, who are probably accomplices to some of the stuff that was happening in the Weinstein situation, or our Weinstein situation, or may have been privy to doing certain things or doing things in the dark when nobody's looking, or even in smaller industries like modeling or like. I mean, look at our current president, who's never shown any of the negative stuff he's read. You know, a lot of this stuff is like it's like a snowball, right? but as soon as the spring comes, it melts, and then so now everything is slowing down. People aren't really thinking about it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of what's the word? There's a lot of not deflection, but you know what I mean. It's like distractions out here. We got so many other things that people are thinking about right now. So all the stuff that was happening with Me Too, that's happening with getting the Hollywood cleaned up, getting big business cleaned up, things of that nature, it's slowing down. I think it's going to continue to slow down until either something big happens again, a big name gets affected by it, or a really disgusting case gets affected by it again. But past that, it's just going to be one of those things that will again go back into obscurity. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see it making a huge progress from here. I think it's just going to be one of the biggest topics of the 2010s, and it's going to be an afterthought in the 2020s.
Yeah, I just feel like this Me Too movement. It's doing two things simultaneously. It's helping some people be able to have the courage to speak out about stuff that's happened to them, but it's also it's also having other people that are not, how do I say this? Like, it's bringing some of the wrong people to the forefront. Like, because it's almost like Black Lives Matter movement. Some that have good intentions and some that have very bad intentions, and they kind of group everybody together. So when you get the people that are lying caught up with the people that actually tell the truth, it makes it harder. So depending on both sides, it could be seen as a good thing and a bad thing. And because of how strongly this movement has been in this year, you could possibly get somebody let go of their job and, basically politically assassinated, and it could be a false allegation. So I think we have to be mindful, same way we should be with Black Lives Matter, what we consider to be a part of the Me Too movement.
Right, true.
Get the facts before you establish it or link it with the Me Too movement, because you don't want to get that false. Too many bad apples and everybody gets a whole bunch of spoiled because of a few of them. So we have to be vetting properly, because you talked about this before when we talked about the Black Lives Matter and how people were saying certain people, Black Lives, it was hashtag Black Lives Matter for blatantly being, like, arguing with the cops and being extra, or, being, basically causing harm by themselves. They didn't need to. And then screaming Black Lives Matter. Can't do that. That movement was specifically for people that are obeying the law and still got killed. It's not for everybody that's disrespect, like doing, it's not, and it's not even obeying the law, because you can break the law, but it's how you should be treated. You know what I'm saying? Treated like everybody else, but you have people that antagonize and make the situation worse, and go above and beyond to cause harm to themselves without, and all of a sudden it's hashtag Black Lives Matter. You have to be very mindful of what you're linking to these hashtags, because then it gets caught up and it's the wrong spending. So I think it's a catch-22, like with the Black Lives Matter for me. And there's a lot of people that's making false allegations. And for me, as a person that legitimately could be linked with the Me Too movement, I feel like it's a detriment to us that actually are survivors of sexual assault or sexual abuse, and you're making us look bad because we really have legit issues and we're dealing with them daily, and you got people coming here making up lies just to get 15 minutes of fame, and it's bad. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it. But I want to bring up that I know we're in the after show right now. You guys can call in 657-383-1155. If not, we still gonna talk. But it was a show that we did. Hold on, I'm trying to Where did I put it? Where did I find it? Where did I have it? Hold on. It was at the beginning. Oh, the one about the reparations. Are you black enough to get reparations? Remember, as again, we were divided.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to touch on.
Yeah, great mind.
Yeah, that was exactly I was about to touch on the ADOS.
Yes. That was an interesting learn too.
Yes, it definitely was. And it definitely will be. We're going to have to really touch on that topic again because I really think it's something bubbling with that, and I think it can get dangerous as far as like black unity, and I think it could create a real divide. That conversation alone with the reparations and the ADOS and who should get what, how is it going to be dispersed and stuff like that. Because you go online now, a lot of people, it's so much infighting. So much infighting with that. It's so much rhetoric online. Like it's getting bad. So for the people who like Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore, they're the ones who started that ADOS, and they've been the ones that's really been in these past few years. There's always been people who talk about reparations, but those was the main two who've been really, really, beating that drum. You feel me? They the ones that really got that conversation out there. But, their caveat to it is ADOS. And then, a lot of people are beefing with that. Like, how you just can't leave everybody out. You're creating a divide. So even people that were supporting them before, that's beefing with them. Now you got Tariq Nasheed, the one who did all the Hidden Colors things that everybody loved. He was with them or was supporting them at first. Now he beefing with them. They was going at Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson, and now like it's crazy. Like that like we really gotta touch on that because like I think we did something good having that show. You know what I mean? Because that's a topic that really need to get discussed. What's going on into this next decade, and when we talking about politics and stuff like that, like that's going to be a hot topic. That's going to be a real hot topic, reparations. Hello?
Yeah, my bad. I had it on mute real quick. Because my son decided he wanted to come out and start the conversation. But I think, like, I learned a lot in that conversation because it was one of those things where I know about the reparations and how people were still trying to get them, but I didn't know the in-depth about the ADO. Am I saying the right ADOS? Because, I'm bad with everything. But I didn't know about that. So that was something that I think you sent to us to go look and research a little bit and get an understanding of what we were going to be talking about. And that stuff I like because I want to know what I'm talking about and kind of at least educate myself and try to get some information or insight of, the thought process and understanding that. And that was, for me, a really good show to kind of understand that. And then, like, you know about the reparations, get to understand how. And then, like you said, the infighting of who's supposed to get it is crazy. But it's just interesting to see. Like, that's one thing. I just wish that we were more united and less divided. But I just feel like somehow, and that's my hope for us at some point in life, that we get back to where our roots were, working together to accomplish goals.
Yeah. I just don't see it happening on a large scale as it once was. You feel me? I still think it'll be unity, but it'll still be everybody sectioned off. I think we can all have a common goal, but I think in order for it to work, it has to be sectioned off. And, everybody going to have to do their own things in their own sections. Because to get everybody to all think alike and to be on one accord at this point in time is going to be impossible. You know what I mean? Like, some people just not going to let go of their ways. And, you know, so I just feel like, you know, like-minded individuals link up and do what they do. That's the only way we're going to be able to move forward. Like-minded individuals link up. And, you know, if we want to build allies, build bridges, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean, everybody stay on their own side.
Yeah.
That's how I see it going. That's how I see it going.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation again. Like I said, I was talking to my coworker about Black Wall Street, and then we got into the conversation of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and stuff like that. And I thought about, you know, how they had secretly met together, and they said that Martin was fed up with, you know, his peaceful protesting, and him and Malcolm were kind of seeing eye to eye about certain roles like that. I think that will be a dope-ass conversation for the podcast, just to kind of think of what we think that conversation looked like, or what it sounded like, and where they were at. And then, you know, shortly after that, both of them were assassinated. So I think that'll be...
No, Willie, we can't hear you, brother.
Yeah. Is he on the line? I'm just saying. I'm on the Facebook page. No, Willie, I don't... If you're talking, we don't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, we hear you. Yeah.
We hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that definitely, we should dive into that, at least our ideas, you know.
Yeah.
How the conversation looked.
Yeah. Now, what I was trying to say was, what I was trying to say was, I think that, you know, it goes back to something Clint always says, you know, all skin folk and kinfolk, and not only in terms of having the same, or having a love for you, but having the same agenda for you. You know what I mean? Everybody having different agendas becomes an issue. You know what I mean? You know, this is something I always notice when it comes to Black conservatives versus people who consider themselves independent versus people who consider themselves Democrats. You know, versus people who consider themselves, not political, but maybe woke, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's got their own perspective of how things need to be done. Everybody's got their own perspective of what they think is best for us as a people. And sometimes it seems like it should be similar, right? I think one thing that you keep touching on, Sonny, is, you know, it seems like we should be on the same accord when it comes to overall general wealth, right? Wealth building. It should be, you know, common sense that we all should be for the progressing of Black communities, Black schools, you know, educating Black children, building up the Black family. Those seems like fundamental things that should just match up, right? But it doesn't seem to, right? You know, you got people who may care less about educating Black kids because all they care about is their own kids or somebody else's kids, and they don't care about the kids that are left behind. You got some people who definitely could care less about Black communities because they never grew up in one. You definitely have people who can definitely care less about uplifting Black wealth because they may not have an investment in Black wealth. They may just have an investment in their own wealth, or they may have an investment in mixed wealth, or whatever the case may be. You know, they don't see it that way. You know, you have some people who have been fed into the thought process that we don't need to be nationalized anyway, that we should be about the American agenda, which some people don't realize that, you know, sometimes that's just the white agenda. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of different things that keeps us separated. You know what I mean? And some people blame it on slavery. Some people blame it on just general ignorance. Some people blame it on, you know, the current, you know, race relations or the current disparities in race in races. You know, be it classism or political or whatever the case may be. But I think that that's one of the issues there, is that we have so many people having their own agendas. I mean, just in the reparations thing, looking at that, between people wanting it to be exclusive to a certain type of people, or some people wanting it to be based on timing or based on, not everybody's got the same ideas, even if we want the same things. Basically all those people want the same things. They want reparations, but nobody has the same ideas and don't want to budge on their ideas when it comes time to make a decision. So it's I think it's doable at some point, but I think we also have to keep in mind that even the civil rights movement as we know it versus as it's advertised was two different things. Everybody wasn't nonviolent. Everybody wasn't behind Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody wasn't, marching on Washington at the same time. Everybody wasn't going for the same goals in that. It was all different types of strategies being played out at around the same time. You had, school organizations, you had church organizations, you had militant organizations, you had anti-government organizations, all these different types of organizations doing their own thing, making their own moves. They got lumped under the same title, civil rights movement, because they had a general idea, they had a general goal that was similar, but they weren't all doing the same things, and they weren't all behind the same leaders. So we do have to keep that in mind. The story gets told by the victors. We saw maybe a little more progress coming out of the things that King's movement and some of the people associated to that movement, brought about, but he wasn't the spearhead of all of those advancements. We had Thurgood Marshall and the people that he was representing for the desegregation of schools. King didn't desegregate schools. King didn't get us, more voting rights in all states. He might have helped some of the people in certain states, but he didn't do it for all the southern states. I mean, there's so many things that were going on. I mean, and one of the topics I think we talked about earlier this year, it was either earlier this year or earlier last year, was the impact of women on the civil rights movement and on all these different organizations, and how they didn't get the popularity or the popular, representation in the history books behind it, and how so much more work was being done by women than the men anyway. You know what I mean? So it's something you got to think about.
Yeah, when we did the Black Panther show, when we did that show about the Black Panthers, and that's one of the things I had learned watching that documentary is that they don't talk about. It's like, the women are the ones who ran the Black Panthers and kept that thing going. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They always talk about Huey P. Newton and all that.
Alive.
Yeah, yeah. Like the women was the lifeblood, life source of the organization. Without the women, there would be no such thing as the Black Panthers. You feel me? They kept that thing going. So like you, like Will, you know what I mean? That's 100%. And that's the one thing that this decade taught me. Well, one thing I got from it is information. Information was at an all-time high, has reached an all-time high. So to not go out, there's really no excuse not to go out there and search for information and find out what you need to find out. The only thing drawback to it is, the gift and the curse of it is too much information.
Yeah, true.
All information ain't good information.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's 100.
And then,
That's 100.
And then, we all can pick a side of an argument and go out there on this internet, this information highway, and find all types of sources to support our argument, whether our argument is ignorant or not.
True.
You know what I mean? It's like that. Like that's a fact. Like that's the one thing. That's the one drawback of all this information. So going forward, I think we need to have more discernment in the information that we seek and gather. You know what I mean? And we have to learn to do our due diligence more. with how we, you know what I mean, process information. You know what I mean? Because like we did the show, you talk about funny shows. When we did the show, it was like how people be the headlines,
mm-hmm.
and they just be running with headlines, and it'd be like, yo,
oh right, yeah,
like,
mm-hmm.
like, know what I mean, like that's wrong. Like y'all running with that, and y'all not even doing your research, and y'all out here just, you know what I mean, reposting and giving y'all opinions on situations that y'all have no real information on.
Exactly. Haven't done any research. Haven't even read the article. I mean, that was the one thing I noticed. It's like people be running off with a headline, not even reading the article. And the article was totally rebutting everything in the headline.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I hope going forward, you know what I mean, as a people, you feel me, as a society, I mean, like we improve on that. We improve on that because you feel me. That'll do, you know, how much great we can use that information for. It can also now end up being our detriment. You feel me? It could be our detriment because it'll be too much ignorance spread. You feel me? And it's so quick to spread it now.
Mm-hmm. True.
You know what I mean? Especially with formats when all of us got platforms. You know what I mean? Like we got now. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be responsible with our platform.
Right.
That's another thing. Like, we got to be, you feel me? Like, we got to be responsible with the platform that we have because it can go, because, you know, people just be really misusing their platform and spreading a lot of bullshit.
True. Well, I mean, that's one thing I respect about us is that we do try to make sure that all the information we put out on this platform either has some sound, you know, background of either, you know, stats, facts, statistics, things that we verify, and if it's stuff we can't verify, you know, we at least have some backing, you know, something to back us up with. You know what I mean? And the information we bring to the table, you know, makes sense and progresses the positive impact or the narrative or the information versus detrimenting anything. So I think that's the one thing I definitely appreciate about this show.
And I've been noticing like a lot more, like a lot of these new podcast, I want to say new more popular podcasts. I've been seeing them regurgitating a lot of topics we done did. That's how I know we're official. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I know we're official. Not even that I'm saying they taking it from us specifically. It's just that already, like, we got the right mindset. We talking about what the people, we know what the people want to hear, because if we're talking about it, if they're talking about it now on their huge platform, and we've already talked about it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like, we are, that letting us know we're ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? And we're doing something, you know what I mean? Like, we thinking proper. So, you know what I mean? That's something else dope. Because now you see a lot of these podcasts, they be talking about the beef between men and women and all that. I'm like, yo, we've been on that. You know what I mean? The conflict, you know what I mean? Like, we literally got episodes about men versus women and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about that topic. We've been bringing that to light. So it's like, it's good to see that, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we on the right path. We're on the right wavelength, so to speak.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But we must have lost Sonny.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
No, I'm still here. My son wants to make an appearance on the show. I don't know if y'all can hear him. My son trying to make a guest appearance on the show tonight. I guess the melody.
He trying to bring the new year in. He trying to bring the new year in.
That's right.
On the podcast. You know, I ain't mad at him.
Right. You know, he know this is the hottest podcast on the
But he ain't gonna say that. He just holler like, ah! I'm like, no, you can't be on here with that. Like you ain't saying that you can't.
One thing I want to start doing at the end of these podcasts, on the after show, I'm gonna start ending it with a poem. That's what I'm
That's
doing.
For sure.
You know,
Xavier agrees. He approves.
No.
Yeah, I feel that. I think we should either end it on a poem or music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I know some. I don't know if you write poetry, Willie, but I know Sonny write poems. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I think that'd be even more. I think that'd be even more us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be all.
Definitely.
Add our own little
I'm
thing
with that.
to it.
I'm
That'd
with
be
that.
even.
Like do good thing. Nah. I think that's what I like about our podcast. The more of us is in it, that's dope. Because it's not like that automated, this is what we're going to talk about. It's us mixed up in this craziness. Like, you know, me over trying to get a word in, really shushing people, like talking over people to set them up. Clint, like, being the devil's advocate. That's our stick. We messing up the dates. I know everybody appreciate that. Y'all appreciate that.
They do.
Don't say it like that. Don't do me like that.
I'm being real. They do.
You almost said it was all.
But right. That's all right.
I mean, sometimes I'm looking at the crazy part about it is I'm looking at the date on my laptop and I still say it wrong. Like, yeah, today is July. Like, no, it's not. I'm looking at
Well, as usual, I'm about to step in and just make sure we remember we need to wrap up.
Yes. So give out your info.
Well, listen, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy Clint. Y'all can hit me up on Twitter at eTrentonGroomy. And on Twitter, no, Twitter is at eTrentonGroomy. See, look, now Sonny got me fucking up. You can also hit me up on Instagram.
Don't blame you.
I like it.
It's your boy Willie Styles. Get at me at Willie Styles everywhere. Willie.Styles on Snapchat. WillieStyles.info for all my links. And just make sure you check out StylesRadio.com for my blog postings.
And of course, it's your favorite girl. I am Sunny _D, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. My blog, which I have seriously neglected this year, unreservedlyme.com. Check out our Facebook page, GFT Radio Show. It's actually GFT Radio on our Facebook page. Follow us on, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. That's at iTunes? Oh.
iTunes.
Yeah.
iTunes as well. Yep.
Radio.com, all that. We pop some merchandise at teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. Get that merch, guys. We got more coming this year. We got kids wear coming up.
Yeah, just like Sonny just mentioned, make sure you check us out. All our replays, every episode is on Spotify, on Google Play Music, on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us on your favorite apps. You don't have to listen on your browser. When you listen to the replays, catch all our past shows, all our future shows, every episode free, on demand. Listen when you have time. Listen to these great topics. Tweet us. Leave us messages on Instagram. Leave us messages on Facebook. We will read our messages. We will respond. Talk about them to your friends. Talk about them to your coworkers. Just remember, GFT Radio Show 2020.
Hey, New Year, guys.
See y'all in 7 days.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Bye, Felicia. No, I'm saying.
Holla.
2020.
Cut him off.